Hello and welcome to another Nowhere Man-Child review. If you like what you see here today, I hope you will subscribe to the channel. Also give us a like, follow, leave a comment and say what you like about it, or if you've known about it before, or if this is news to you. And also share with folks that you think will also appreciate this. And subscribe to the channel, get them to subscribe, and more videos will be coming soon. Also, if you like to follow me on Instagram, I am at Nowhere Manchild. So here we're going to talk about Wave 1 here from Operation Recall. These figures are part of the O-ring renaissance that is going on right now with other companies that are also putting out O-ring action figures that are in 1/18 scale, around 3 3/4 inch high. So they're definitely based around what a lot of people would say as a classic 1980s, 80s, and 90s G.I. Joe figures. So here we're going to take a look at the first figures from Wave 1 of Operation Recall. I had backed this on Kickstarter a few years ago and went all in with the figures. So I have all the waves coming, all the figures, and everyone who went all in was able to get their figures shipped to them here in December, as this is being recorded the last weekend before Christmas of December 2025. But here, let's take a look at each of the figures, and we'll see how we talk about them. We'll start with Breacher. Breacher is the forced entry specialist and canine. There you can see the title Operation Recall. You can see the gorgeous card art that is actually, all these card art paintings are done by Doug Hart. Doug Hart, who is an experienced painter going back with G.I. Joe. Also, you will see that all these figures have swivel wrist battle grip. That is a new design element for these figures, and it really helps. So it saves the thumbs and helps with the articulation. Here on the side, similar to old G.I. Joe file cards, you will see what's included here with the accessories. They're listed with every figure. And then on the back, you can see the cross-sell here. So the cross-sell will show you what all figures are still coming with the wave. And so you can see future waves here of things that are coming out with Operation Recall. Ritello and Homer, Cadavers, Damselfly, Saul Eagle, Bear Claw and Wilson, Clanker and Tank, Snakeheads, Bengal, Scrounger and Luna, Night Raiden, Ozzy, Lilith, Salty Dog, Runback, and Pack Dog, and then the Ritello and Homer Midnight Ops. So on the back of every card, you'll see that. We won't go over that every time. And then here is the present. Here is the unadorned card art that you can see there. And then also the file card. Anyone who wants to read that full file card there, you can pause this and take a look at that later. One thing that I think is wonderful that was done here is the credits. Here on the side, you can see the credits. The concept for Breacher and Hellhound is by Gabriel Mangum and designed by Mark Pennington with direction by Kirk Bazigian, package design by Sean Morrill, package art by Doug Hart, package direction by Ed Morrill. Writing by Larry Hama, he wrote all these file cards. Sculpt of the figure by Bill Markline. Sculpt of the head by Mike Good. 3D figure by Carter. Accessories by Mark Gerwig. Casting by Lightbeam 3D. Paint Ray Murphy. Manufacturing Big Joe. And the Operation Recall CO.R. Carson Metaxas. So those credits you will see for each individual figure are on the borders on the back side of every card, and I think that is wonderful. So actually, we won't necessarily read all the credits for each card, but we'll give a little credit here as we look through. Yeah, the cards themselves, these are in really great shape. As far as the card itself is concerned, it's similar to the structure of a G.I. Joe card from the 1980s. Here we have Tiger Force Duke from 1988, and you can actually see the thickness, and it's really great. And then for those interested in the design who might realize how close it is to the original figures design, I mean, they're very well mimicked. Operation Recall is basically, if G.I. Joe were continuing forward, this is G.I. Joe. Fun School cards are much lighter comparatively. Here is a Fun School card from India, and you can see compared to the hardback design of these cards are really stable and well structured. Also, if you notice the background here, the flash on the background there. It's very similar. Here we have a ripcord halo jumper. We have the halo jumper ripcord, and you can see just how the design was carried over, and that's wonderful. It really this has such a timeless look, and these are going to match that in that way. Also similar to, if you're interested in keeping your card backs in great shape, I recommend getting photograph top loaders. These are the ones that I use. These are by BCW. Photograph top loaders that are 6" by 9". And you can get 25 in a pack like this one, for example. So if that's something you're interested in, you can do that. Let's go over to the figure. Here we have Breacher, and these figures are gorgeous. They are very glossy, actually. You can see how the light bounces off the buck here, and it's just amazing. There's so many good details here. You're not going to be able to pick up and see everything that I necessarily have here. This is just my cell phone camera, but you can see all of the details that we have here on the legs, on the arms, on the side, and then on the back. One thing that you won't see with in-carded examples is the back. And Breacher, his file card said he's born in Fort Worth, Texas. He's a Texan guy because he's clearly got a Longhorns cap on there. That is clearly a Longhorn cap. But you can see a lot of fantastic detail there. And also because of the wrist swivel design, he's actually able to hold the weapon, and the weapon is easily placed in his hands. And with the thumbs, they could be a little tight to begin with, but I had no problem with him getting his weapons in his hand. Here we have the figure stand that is made to him. It's got his Operation Recall logo there. And then also here you'll see that there is a little bit of a ridge here. And the ridge is actually to include for either holding the file card in place or holding this. And this is included. Each figure has their own design booklet. So when you open this up, you're actually able to see designed by Mark Pennington. Here are some of the original designs that were done for Breacher and Hellhound. And then the second half of this includes the color studies. And again, if you have interest in these, you can pause the video here. You can also go to OperationRecall.com, and Operation Recall will show you this plus more with the history and everything going back to the creation and development of these figures and where things are moving into Wave 2. Here you can see the sculpture sheet, and then also the presentation art there. And if some of this is familiar to you, maybe you've seen some of these because you might have picked up some of these cards. So Operation Recall cards were especially done for Joe Fest. This was the 2023 pack with designs. The 2024 pack include the color presentation art and the figure sculpture sheets. And then the 2025 pack, which featured unadorned package art and the packaging prototypes, which very, 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 very similar to what was created and finalized here. But if you're an Operation Recall nerd like me, then you've got some of these limited edition card decks that I bought each year from Carson Metaxas for Operation Recall. One thing we haven't seen yet is the companion, and this is Hellhound. He is a Belgian Malinois. And you can see his pack there. He has a lot of accessories there and supply, ammunition there for Breacher and for anyone else. There is a med kit there in the middle. And he's got a little handle on his thing there. He is sculpted as one. He doesn't have any articulation, but he doesn't need it. Mutt and Junkyard and Order and Timber and all those from the 80s, they never needed it really either. So as far as in this scale, they're just fine. And so to get him on the stand, you can do it as such. There. It has no problem getting him on the stand. One further thing we did not showcase is the fact that he has another weapon. And so this actually, if he's holding this weapon with two hands, he doesn't have a place to hold this. He actually doesn't have a belt or a backpack or anything where this can snap on and attach. So as far as keeping things such as this, I like to use these little baggies for all of my G.I. Joes and figures of this size. And they are 3x6, 2 mil, and you usually get them in about a pack of 100 or 200, depending on where you can purchase them from. And similar to the top 4 ref topplers, those available on Amazon. But there's a good look at Breacher and Hellhound. And so we will put him back into place, and we will move forward so we can take a look at our next example, which is the Mzimu Corps. So the Mzimu Corps figure here, you can actually see that the stand holds that very well. Let's go into the card back first. You can see the title. We can see the affiliation brand on the top. As in the corner as in that top right corner, you can see that he is part of the Orthrus organization. And he is the infiltration and sabotage. He is not an individual figure. He is a army builder. So he is one of many. The Mzimu is many. Mzimu is Swahili for ghost. And we'll see that back on the file card. But gorgeous, gorgeous art by Doug Hart. And you can see what he includes as accessories inside the packaging. And in this case, you can actually see there is a way to scan and learn more. This will take you directly to the Mzimu Corps page on Operation Recall. I believe Breacher and Hellhound were supposed to have that as well, and it seems to be a mistake because all the figures have one of those except for him. Here we can see the cross cell, and we can see the unadorned package art, and then the file card itself, as well as the credits. So the concept was by Aaron Jenkins, designed by Mark Pennington, and then you have the rest of the team, similar to previous, with sculpt of the figure by Mike Good and the accessory sculpted by Mark Gerwig, paint by Matt LaCroix, and then Operation Recall, Carson Metaxas, CO. So the Mzimu Corps, anyone who's a fan of accessories is going to really appreciate this figure because he has the most out of all the first wave. And so here we can take this out of the back, out of the cart stand right there. And you can take a look at his design there. His mask mimics the core, the logo of Orthrus. That is the face of, you can see it there. The face there matches that one there. And so his weapon here, I was able to put him in a form that matches the card art. And so you can see that he has weapon there that includes a tripod or bipod, and a lot of great detailing. It's going to be harder to see, but you see it there on his arms, just the different ridges. And again, very beautiful paint job, very smooth, very nice. He has this belt pack, which you can attach to the weapon and into the backpack. And in the backpack itself, there you can actually see lots of great detailing. He's got some grenades there, and he also has the sheath for this machete. And the machete stays in really well, but it comes loose, and it can come in and out. But once it goes in the backpack, it will stay in there. There's no danger of it coming out. And there he has a sidearm on the side there, and he's in the stand easily. So let's go into his detailing here. So the Mzimu Corps, this little booklet was behind him, and you can see his ideation designs here by Mark Pennington. Mark Pennington is someone that when he was on G.I. Joe, he designed a few of folks' favorites in like 1988. So version 2 of Storm Shadow and Shockwave and Hit and Run. Those are Mark Pennington designs. And the more that you see of these, and the more you can appreciate some of what he did back then and what he's continued to do here. There's the color studies and the sculpture sheet. And the presentation art. Anytime you open up one of these, I didn't do it with Breacher, I'm just realizing that you can get a full little mini poster with the unadorned packaging art signed by Doug Hart. And it's gorgeous. It's really nicely done. Really, really extra bonus. This, you're not getting this with any other figure lines that I've seen. There's not a single one that is showing you this amount of detail and product added to it. And that's one thing that Carson has done really well over the years, is keep up and make sure that people know what's going on, see the process in design one step at a time, where things are and how it's working. And these are the finished results of wave one for all of that, so it's really well done. Here we have Dark Reapers, the Shock Troop Infantry. Comes with 2 weapons. This one here that I actually couldn't get him to hold it with both hands. There's a bulkiness to the back of the weapon, and it's just difficult to wind it all the way around. Maybe you had that issue with some G.I. Joe figures in the past, but I had that with him as well. So when you see him holding his 2 weapons instead of looking like the package art there. And then there is the accessories that he comes with listed on the side. And then when you get to the back side here, the cross-sell with the unadorned package art, and then the file card. Dark Reapers is a concept by Chris Scott, designed by Ron Rudat. Figure is sculpted by Bill Merkline, the head by Mike Good, 3D figure by Carter, accessories by Mark Gerwig, and the paint by Chris Scott. All the credits for the entire team, they're similar to the other cards. They're all listed there. And again, another solid card, another great look. Let's take a look at the figure. Dark Reapers is a fantastic looking design. There you can see just how glossy he is, how many pieces he has here. There you can have a comm on his shoulder. He's got some grenades on the strap. On the chest there, you see the red chest plate, and you also see it on his shoulders there, that he has the Orthrus design. And it is sculpted on. It's not just paint. It's red paint that's on the sculpting. You can see the sculpting there. He has a lot of great sculpting. He has a knife there in his side. He has these shin guards, which would be illegal in in sports with the spikes, I believe. And then also there is a sidearm that's attached to his leg there. It looks like the weapon would come out, but it actually does not. But it's really well designed, really nice. Like I said before, I was actually not able to get this weapon to be held by 2 arms. It just wouldn't get all the way around. So instead, I put his pistol in his hand there. So there, and again, what you may not see from the things that are still carded is you can see the back of him there, and you can see some of the computerization that's on his helmet and on his vest harness. And I guess one thing we didn't show before was the stand for the Mzimu Corps is the same here. The enemy stand, you can see the 2-headed wolf design there on the back. These are really excellent and not a problem whatsoever to get the figure on the stands. It goes on lickety-split. And then taking a look here, let's look at the Dark Reapers design process by Ron Rudat. Here you can see the ideation of the original designs that were done. And it's just beautiful to be able to look at these different iterations and renderings. The color studies, pick your favorite. If you know someone who's a customizer, get an extra one. Pick different colors if you want to. And then also here we have the figure sculpture sheets and the presentation art. And as with all these, when you open it up, you have the unadorned art in a mini poster. Gorgeous and fantastic. Okay, last but not least, we have General Mortifero. So he is the big bad. He is the one who is the leader. You can see that his face mask, his helmet actually matches the organizational logo. He's the commander. Fantastic, a very, very dynamic pose there. And you can see what he includes: the pistol, the hammer, the ceremonial knife, and the display stand. And on the back, cross-sell, the unadorned art, and the file card. And there, he's concept by David Emanuele Martinez, designed by Mark Pennington. Figure sculpt by Mike Good, accessory sculpted by Mark Gerwig, paint by Chris Scott, with all the other credits there. Okay, let's take a look at his figure. He is the shiniest of all the glossies. He really hits the light really well. You can see this there. We get natural sunlight from the window to the right here, and so you can see that there. He holds the mace very well. It actually was difficult more to get things in his fingers, in his grips, than anyone else. I actually had a little trouble getting the gun in his hand there. I didn't want the gold to rub off or the red inside. So once it's fit, I'm glad with keeping it there. His sheath, his knife will come off of his belt there. So just a little hole that pegs into. You can see on his design, on his belt, and his buttons. Really well designed figure, really fantastic mask. Little designs on his boots. And then again on the back side, that little blade. As far as, oh, I'm unarmed, put my hands behind my back and then pull a knife. I was not taking off the shoulder pauldron for the cape. I wasn't sure if this comes off or not. It seemed like it could, but I didn't want to take it off and then have it be loose. And I wasn't going to take it off at any time for play or display, either one. But also you can see there's some stitching down here at the bottom that actually keeps it and gives it a little weight, a little gravity to be able to hold down. And then he can cover himself over right there. I don't have a gun. I'm fine. You can tell based on the designs here, this is not someone to be trusted. He's dangerous. And then here we have his, let's get a close-up view there. The design process by Mark Pennington. So seeing the ideation designs here. There they are. Amazing, fantastic looking. There's the color studies. And we have the figure sculpt sheet and presentation art. And again, a mini poster of the unadorned art. This is one that I can see people buying two of if they want to have the figure on display and also want to have a carded example. He might be one where I can see where that happens more than others. But regardless, I am really glad that I have taken these out of the package. I hope that more people will do that as well and can appreciate the craftsmanship that's done here. And also play with your toys. Enjoy them. Share them. Give them some love. And let's just see how they mesh with the existing toys. Let's just see how that goes. So we will take the Mzimu Corps figure, and we will take him right over there. He gets a thumbs up from Duke, and we will put him right over here with a pair of other Army builders of previous years. That's the Crimson Guard, of course. The Crimson Guard on the ferret. Looking good with another Army builder there. who actually reminded me with his hairstyle of a certain ghost that Beetlejuice sat next to in the afterlife waiting room, if you recall. Okay, now let's go see. Let's go check out our man with the iron mask. Oh, not that one. That's Mick Jagger as Ned Kelly, a different man in the iron mask. Ah, yes, Destro. There we are. Destro, the gold masked, red cape to the side, black outfit, who now has someone else to talk to about that very similar design choice. And one thing about that is it's just a dynamic look. The red, black, and gold, it worked for Destro and the Iron Grenadiers, and it works for General Mortifero. And so, yeah, if Destro gets in the Dominator there, Mortifero may take off in the Despoiler. You never know. Let's move on here, and let's go check out someone else here. Ah, we have Cobra Sting with his driver there, the Stinger driver, hanging out. And aha, the character that may most be compared to the Dark Reapers, and that's the Headhunter Stormtrooper character. Based on the mask, based on some of the spikes, based on the color, it's very, very similar in some respects because of the malevolence I think that it brings as a design. These two may never be friends, but give them together so they can be bonded and sharing in the same world. And then let's take Breacher and have him talk to he's supposed to be here. He's just late. Oh, here he comes. There we go. It's Law and Order. It could have been Mutt and Junkyard. It's not. It's Law and Order. So we got Breacher there. I'm going to talk to Law about how things have been going. And, oh, there we go. Those dogs can be friends, right? Yeah. How many times is your dog friends with another best friend's dog? Well, there we go. So there we have Breacher and Hellhound with Law and Order. And we have Dark Reapers. We have General Mortifero. And we have the Mzimu Corps. All from Operation Recall Wave 1. I really hope that you'll check this line out. You can go to operationrecall.com. You can find out information there as far as how to purchase these. And when more detail comes out, you will see that. You can follow Operation Recall on Instagram and on Facebook. And definitely reach out to Carson Metaxas. Carson put out the Art of G.I. Joe Omnibus. And he has continued to put out just fabulous projects that are full of wonderful passion that we can all get behind as fans. And it's really great to see the work when the work comes out and to have it be as quality as we'd hoped. But yeah, this has been a Nowhere Man-Child review, and I hope that everyone has enjoyed yourselves here. I hope that you will like, comment, subscribe, share, and reach out to me. It'd be great to hear from you, from fellow fans, your questions, your comments, and also play with your toys. Enjoy your life in the way that you enjoy your collectibles as your own. But also be good to one another and yourselves. And we'll see you again. Another Nowhere Man-Child review. Goodbye.